Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Gregovich from YogaBodyRollingMG.com, and thanks for joining me today. We're going to do a real short practice focused on creating a more three-dimensional experience of our rib cage. So this is going to be done through the breath. Rather than pushing or pulling or trying to force our rib cage into a certain alignment, as we sometimes might be cued to do in order to create core strength, we're going to create that core strength with our breath by creating more expansion in the rib cage, and then we'll see how this helps us in not only our back bending, but also in creating a stronger, more stable core, and just creating more ease in our postures overall. So you're going to need a strap, and if you can make that strap, go ahead and make it into just a big circle, big loop, and you can adjust it as you see that you need it, and just have on hand a couple blocks and a blanket. They always are helpful for supporting you in other poses. And we'll just see how it goes. You may want to go ahead and warm up with a gentle practice prior to jumping in here with me. This is just a short practice, and you may want to even continue at the end with some cool down. So let's go ahead and jump into the practice now by jumping through the loop of our strap and bring it around so that the flat part of the strap rests at the bottom of the rib cage just below the shoulder blade. So it's not actually at the last rib, but just below the level of the shoulder blades. All right? So you have to shimmy it around until you find that. And then you can just grab it with your palms facing up and your elbows to your side. And it may take you a minute to play here to find where is a relaxed, grounded space of the ribs. I want you to unlock the knees, because locking the knees automatically pushes our rib cage forward and changes the alignment of our pelvis. So by really getting a softness in the knees and a heaviness in the feet, we can start to feel those ribs fall back into the strap. So this helps us to find an alignment between the rib cage and the pelvis. Rather than forcing an alignment by pulling the ribs back, we're going to let them hang in the strap like the strap was a hammock. This is more of a fascial approach, and I think promotes a lot easier movement and a little healthier breath work and healthier approach to the body. So relax the ribs in the strap, relax the ribs over the pelvis, keep the knees softly bent, and let the pelvis drop. So it kind of feels like we're just hanging from this strap. Now, we can slide the hands, keeping that weight in the back ribs. Start to slide the hands forward, slide the thumbs to the inside of the strap, and then again, connect into those ribs. This starts to give us a little connection not only to the back, but the side ribs. But again, when we start to pick up the strap like we're going to do, sometimes that swings us forward. So we're going to put the elbows inside the strap. So I've got a circle here, and I've got my palms facing forward, elbows out, and I've got the upper arms tucked into the inner edges of the strap. So I can start to focus on creating more width through this whole side band of the ribs. Kind of wiggle back in there, keep a little tension outward through the elbows, softness in the neck, and just begin to breathe as if you're trying to inflate this whole circle that you can see that I have. So softness in the knees, keep the ribs heavy in the strap, and breathe out into the back body, into the side body, into the front body, and just do that a few rounds. Notice where you start to pick up and create tension. It might be in the neck. It might be that you start to pull and rock forward, and just try to soften. Focus on the exhale. Relax into the strap. Then invite that inflating breath into all sides of the rib cage. Now, keeping that space in the outer edges of your rib cage, go ahead and reach the hands forward. The elbows are going to come out of the strap, and you might start to lift as you reach forward so you don't go right back into that arched position. So we're lifting and reaching forward, keeping the ribs heavy in the strap and lifting, and stay heavy in the strap and lift. Bend the knees, get that hanging sensation. Ribs are hanging in the strap and pelvis is hanging from the rib cage. There's still an alignment there. And lift through the arms, through the thumbs. Keep the neck soft, the head can follow the lift. Just let this create a nice long sensation of lengthening or stretching across the abdomen. Lift a little more, bend the knees, lift the arms. As you lift with the arms, it's going to naturally start to straighten the legs. You can take this toward a back bend, but notice if there's a point which you start swinging forward and off that strap, and don't go past that point. So I've got the strap slightly forward as I lift. I'm getting a nice lift of those shoulder blades. Big inhale and exhale. Relax. Now, we'll shimmy that strap up to the armpits, flip it over the head so that you get it wrapped around the shoulders, right over the top of the shoulders, and it is just lining the armpits underneath, over the front, the top, and hanging over the back. So you might have to adjust the length of your strap if you need to, so that it fits your arms. I'm going to go ahead and lengthen mine just a little bit. And again, we'll let the thumbs hang in the strap. If that's not comfortable for you, try just gripping it lightly with the hands, but be careful of how much grip strength you're using. If you can just let the thumbs rest there without pushing, without straining the thumbs, then that usually is pretty comfortable. So again, we're going to feel that we naturally want to pull back on that strap, and it naturally wants to push us forward. And so we might feel that we're getting a back bend here, and we are getting some, but we're getting this bending, this extension of the front body at the expense of tightening and compressing and shortening the back body. So we're looking for that three-dimensional expansion, so we're going to instead take those elbows back into the strap. That's why you need it to be just maybe a little bit longer. Okay, so elbows into the strap without pulling it off the shoulders. So there's a balance here, right? Gotta find it. I want to be able to have the elbows a softer widening than before. I'm pressing very lightly out into the elbows while keeping some attention and tension on the front of the shoulders so that I have an opening on front and back at the same time. So I have to find just the right amount of tension between the elbows and the shoulders so that I don't lose either part of the strap. Can you feel that creates expansion on front, sides, and back? Just breathe, soften, let go. Any place you're tensing. Soften the grip on the strap. This is not hard. Keep the knees soft. This is not a hard posture. It may be hard to find, but we're not working hard, right? We want it to be a soft experience. Right? Feel that chest open up. I'm adjusting the thumb slightly as it starts to open up. And then you might slowly let those elbows slip out. Take it into that nice back bend without feeling the same squeezing and shortening on the back as you did the first time. Okay, go ahead and release that. Let's just take the strap down. So hopefully when you stand now, you might feel that you've got a little different sensation of what's going on here. And we're not favoring the opening on the front body at the expense of shortening and tightening the back body. We're not creating alignment in ribs and pelvis by pulling and hardening the belly. We want to keep this sense of softness and expansiveness as we move into the next phase of our practice. So let's take the thumbs to the back of the ribs. Just like where the strap was, we're just going to sense that we're sitting in those thumbs. We call that grounding the ribs, or perhaps softening front ribs to back ribs, and finding that natural alignment. Right? So keep that in mind. And as you inhale, float the arms up and the right leg up. I'm going to mirror you. Let's change that so that I've got the right thing. So we're going to have the right leg forward. So let's take the left leg up. Let's change that. Step up. Take the elbows out to the sides and see, even in this position, if you can feel that breath in the back ribs. Take a breath again. On your exhale, reach the leg back, reach back, and put the toes down. So we're coming into a crescent lunge. Again, find the back of the ribs, soften front ribs to back ribs, find a natural alignment of ribs and pelvis. We've got all 5 toes on the ground on the back foot, not just the big toe. We're keeping all 5 toes evenly spread. And then slowly float the arms up. See if that feels a little lighter, easier, if you can still find that 3-dimensional expansion that we just found with the strap. Inhale, and as you exhale, turn to your right and bring the arms down to the side. Right? Inhale, float them back up, back to center. Exhale, turn left, float the arms down. Inhale, straight up like you're taking a ball overhead. Center, exhale, rotate, and down. I want this to be easy, and we want to avoid gripping and tightening and twisting in the pelvis. So if your turn needs to be more like 45 degrees, then just honor whatever your body will give you today. Turning to the left, arms float down. Inhale, connected to the back ribs, rotate, and arms down. Once more, inhale back up. Exhale to the left, arms down. Turn your back foot so the heel drops to the floor. We're facing the side of our mat. Float the arms out in warrior two. Good. Place the hands on top of the thigh bones. If you're not sure where that is, find your hips, slide down till you hit the leg bones. Let those hands get heavy without pushing, just let them become like sandbags. And slowly feel your rib cage floating up off of those hips. Not forward, but up. So leg bones to armpits is getting longer on both sides. Float the arms back up. Turn the palms upward. And on your exhale, fold halfway forward. Our back is parallel to the mat. That front knee is still lined up right over the middle of the foot. Didn't change anything in the legs. Bring the hands down, and we'll take this into this kind of hybrid lunge down dog. So find a comfortable position for your hands, reaching out while hammocking back into your hips and keeping the legs active and open in their warrior two stance. Notice if you tend to lean into one side of the rib cage. Can you bring your attention to the right side of the rib cage and lengthen it, and then the left side of the rib cage and lengthen it? Now walk the hands to the front corner and do the same thing. Lengthening through right side, lengthening through left side, lengthening both sides equally. Rotate around to the front and turn onto the ball of the back foot. Walk your right foot out a little bit wider. Hands go to the floor, or if you like, you may decide you want to have blocks here. So you can have hands on the floor on the inside of that right leg, or you could come down to elbows on the blocks, or some people prefer to have elbows on the floor. Some people might prefer back knee down. So it really doesn't matter. What you're looking for is, where can I keep some softness in this inner thigh? Where can I keep the front ribs still connected into my back ribs? So this is not a collapsing pose, but rather there's still energy that's lifting from the underbody to the back body, supporting me. And I've got some space. I'm not cramping up or pinching up the muscles on that inner right thigh and inner abdomen. So I like to keep the hands down, the arms long, and if I want to go deeper, move the knee forward and just lower the hips till they're parallel to the floor. Back thigh is pressing up towards the sky. Inner thighs are sliding in and rolling up on that back extended leg. Good. Neck is nice and long. Now slowly place the back knee down and turn it in just a little bit. So I'm going to lift it and angle it in, and you may want to add a blanket or an extra mat there, or just fold your mat over to pad the knee. Then with the left hand on the floor, I'm going to start to bring this right hand around. I can turn this right foot out just a bit. Right, so this would be first kind of expression of this pose. We're turning into the slight twist. I'm on the inner edge of my back knee. If you want to go into the bow from here, instead of swinging forward and trying desperately to reach that foot behind you, just take your hips back. This also can help eliminate any cramping in the thigh, hopefully. Kind of go slowly, begin to lift the heel, hips towards heel, heel towards hips, then you find that foot. So they're moving towards one another. And then, instead of collapsing through the hips, go ahead and bend the front knee forward and start to open the heart towards the sky. All right, so the tendency is to kind of want to splay out and just hinge and hang right in those hips. But this can cause a lot of tension in the inner thighs and we often take this into the lower back. So instead, keep the hips and the left thigh moving back. The energy is moving back. Bend the front knee forward. And then slide that underside of the left ribs around, as if you're just sliding all that tissue towards the ceiling. Slowly with your exhale. Keep energy in that left arm. And then try this. Go ahead and bend that left arm. That will help you get that energy in the ribs. Slide those ribs around towards the ceiling. And then if it's available, you can straighten the arm again. Slowly release. Good. Hands and knees. Tops of the feet on the floor. Right? On your inhale, move the hips back. And just feel that you're spreading those sit bones. Those are the two buttocks bones back here. Spreading your tail, your pelvic floor towards the feet. Exhale as if you're springing off your feet and coming slightly forward. You don't have to go as forward as me. Just get the sensation of inhale, pushing back. The hands slightly resisting away from the floor, sit bones spreading. Exhale, springing forward. Now let's add a little footwork. Inhale, back. Tops of the feet are facing down. As you exhale, flip the toes under and spring off those toes and slightly forward. Inhale and curl, spread. You want to feel a widening of the sit bones and the pelvic floor. Exhale, toes tuck, move forward. You're going to feel a little toning of lower belly up towards the sacrum, ribs up towards the back as you come forward. Inhale, spread, pelvic floor open. Exhale, pelvic floor lifts, belly tones. Right? Inhale, feel the wave of the breath rather than a squeezing and forcing the pelvic floor into a contracted position. Let the breath do it. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back and slowly settle back into a wide-legged child's pose. Let's rest 3 breaths. Feel that the hips are slowly melting open. Walk the fingers out. Try to take the rib cage off of the hips. 1 more breath. Slowly come back up. And you might invite a down dog at this point to transition to the other side. Walk the feet forward or come forward as you like. And come up as you like, supporting your back. Okay. Move the block to the other side. Coming right back to that crescent lunge pose. So we'll take the arms up and the right knee up, if I can remember. On your exhale, start to reach it back, going through warrior 3. Toes touch down, elbows to the sides. Let's check again, thumbs to the back ribs, and see if we can rest those ribs in our thumbs and feel a soft alignment between ribs and pelvis without forcing or pulling on this abdomen, without shortening the abdomen. A nice long hip flexor all the way down to the thigh. Then if it's comfortable for you, arms here or take them up. Inhale, exhale, turn left, arms out. Remember, it can be 45 degrees or 90 degrees, anywhere in between. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, turn and float down. Can you go with your breath? Think of turning right on the axis without letting your ribs arch forward or move off that axis. Just by using the breath, keeping it soft, not gripping or tightening. It's a natural core activation that happens close to the spine without gripping in the outer muscles. Exhale left, inhale up, exhale right, hold, turn that back heel to the floor, float the arms out, your warrior 2. Okay, take the hands to the leg bones. If you're not sure, start at the hips, slide straight down, hit the bones. Make them just like soft sandbags, not a push, but just a weight to remind you to let those thigh bones drop and to let the sides of the waist, the rib cage, float up. Floating arms back out. Exhale halfway forward. And bring the hands to the floor. Begin to walk forward into our down dog lunge hybrid. This left knee should stay right over the center of the left foot. Back leg is active as well. Both sides of the spine lengthening. Try to find where you're shortening, where you're losing space. Walk to the front corner. Again, legs are firm, grounded, and stable. Spine is long on both right and left. Walk to the front. Turn onto the toes of the back foot and widen your left leg. Step it out to the side. Taking this deep lunge in any way that's right for you, looking to maintain some space right here in the crease of that left leg. Sit bones lifting and spreading. Rib cage lifting into your back. Elbows can go on the block or on the floor, or just stay extended as mine are. Lengthen, crown of the head to the heel as if you're playing tug of war through the center of the body. Slowly touch the back knee down, and then lift it and angle it in so you're on the edge of the knee. Right? You can pat it as you like. Right hand is on the floor. Move your hips back, and then slowly bend and see if you can reach the foot. If not, you can stay in the position without reaching the foot. Hips back, find the foot. I like to hook it from the outside. And then with the heel close to the buttocks, bend the front knee. Keep the energy of that right thigh moving back towards the heel. Bend that right elbow, right? Bend it so you can pick up those right ribs and float them around with your breath. Try it again. Bend the elbow some more. Pick up the right ribs. Exhale, let it slide around so the heart just slides to face the ceiling. You can go further, let the front knee bend, and then let the back foot open. Again, hips are supported, ribs are supported. So we're just looking for the sensation in different places. We often collapse in the hips and we lose the spinal lengthening, the rib expansion. We lose the connection of upper body to lower body through the psoas. Just find what works for you, and then release. Bring the hands down, step back to our quadruped position. We're going to add one more little element to this. Remember how we did an inhale going back? So we're spreading like tail feathers, spreading out behind you. Exhale, toes tuck and forward. A light action through the toes gives a connection of lower body to back body. But let's add one thing. As we extend the toes and move back, I want you to think about spiraling your armpits in and your inner thighs in and back. So it's an inner rotation, an inner spiral of the body coming from armpits and inner thighs. Tuck the toes, spiral forward. So inner thighs would be coming forward and out. Armpits would be going around and out. It's a very subtle action. Inhale, come back and inner spiral. Armpits and hips. Exhale, toes tuck, outer spiral. If that's confusing, forget the spiral. Inhale, spiral, in and back. We're opening up. Big full breath. Exhale, tone, outer spiral. Couple more, make it easier, softer. Feel that connection to the pelvic floor, the widening on the inhale, the connection, the lift, and the core strength on the exhale. One more. Exhale. Then toes extended, knees wide. Keep widening the sit bones, floating the hips back, and find a comfortable child's pose. Let's take 3 breaths. Letting everything melt. Slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. We'll end here, but you may just want to turn off the video and continue on with your own practice. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.